The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio on Market Street in Corning. Speaking of Corning, it's candidate for mayor of Corning. Pam, thanks so much for being back on the program.
It's great to be here, Frank. Thanks
Boy,
for having
time
me.
flies. It was what, beginning of summer, was it? We talked?
Yeah, late spring maybe even. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So how's the campaign been going so far?
It's been a busy season. I have been out walking around, ringing doorbells and introducing myself to people.
How do you like it?
I'm really enjoying that. It's great to talk one-on-one with folks and hear what's on their minds. And, I feel like I owe it to people, since I don't have opposition, to give them a chance to ask me questions and to share what their concerns might be.
Have people been pretty receptive? I mean, I ask that not because of you or anybody specific. I'm amazed when you're getting petitions signed. People don't answer the doors like they used to.
Yeah. And there's certainly a fair amount of that too when you're just out canvassing. But the people that I've talked to have been really warm, really friendly, really engaged and about the city of Corning and happy with things.
And I do think it's interesting because people have different concerns. So what you hear from one neighbor may be completely different from the other neighbor, and maybe a topic you never even realized was on someone's list, right?
Well, yep, but there are definitely things that unite us all. And I think
I was going to ask.
I think potholes is probably at the top of the list. Street paving, and I have to put in kudos to Bill Boland and Mark Reichman, because I think together they really put together a strong program of repaving and putting money aside to make sure that we take care of our streets day to day.
Well, and it is a tough one, but it is talk about the most local of politics.
Sure.
The pothole in front of my house doesn't get much more local.
That's right.
It's all local, right?
That's right.
Have you anything other than potholes that have been kind of a common thread when you talk to people?
Yeah, sort of top of mind, I think everybody can point to a vacant building that they have concerns about.
Sure.
And they span the range of residential buildings within neighborhoods, commercial buildings, office buildings. We have a gateway right now that's sitting vacant right now that Rite Aid is no longer in business.
I know it.
And so I think we're all anxious to see some more commercial development and infill development happening to correct those things.
So taking kind of a step back, and you're knocking on doors, you're talking to people, you're going to events, but if someone hasn't had the opportunity to meet you yet, what should they know about you? Maybe tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to run.
Sure. Well, most immediately, I have been chairing the committee to update the city's comprehensive
Well, that'll
plan.
come up in a little bit.
Okay,
Don't beat me to the punch yet.
All right, we'll save that for later. I'll go back a little bit farther. When I moved to Corning, I had been a city planner. I worked in the city of Phoenix, and I caution people not to blame me for what's happened in Phoenix. I worked in a small city in Southern California and in Brevard County. And so I came to Corning, and city planning was not as forward a thing as it was in those really high growth, high development areas.
Sure.
But when I retired from teaching, I did teach for about 15 years at the Alternative School for Math and Science. When I retired from that, the opportunity presented itself to get involved in planning again. Bill Boland invited me to be on the Planning Commission, and I've done that now for about 5 years. And I just really like being able to give something back to the city this way.
And what was it that pushed you over the edge to decide that you're going to take that step and get the signatures and knock on the doors?
Pushed over the edge.
That's the way to do it.
It was a long process of discernment for me, actually. I had to think about it for quite a while.
Sure.
It's not a position I ever saw myself taking or trying to take. But after a lot of conversations with Bill and with others, my family included, it seemed like it was a way that I could continue to work on the issues that have concerned me. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, since you're kind of new to that side of things, what has been the biggest surprises?
Big surprises. Yeah. Wow. I guess... Well, I'll start with something fairly immediate. I went out of town for a family wedding one weekend and came back, and there was a broken water main and two new Superfund sites declared. While I was gone. And
that's wonderful.
There's no causation there, I'm sure, but still.
How was the wedding?
The wedding was lovely.
Okay, good.
Yes, thanks. But it was, it's surprising to me how fast the environment can change around you. And I think we all see a situation now where maybe grant funds aren't flowing as freely as they once were. that's certainly been a big change since I first decided to pursue this role.
Sure, that's true. Yeah.
And so it makes me wonder kind of what we might be faced with when
Right.
I eventually do take office.
Well, it's also nice to plan now so you're prepared, because things have changed since you
Sure.
first started getting signatures.
Sure.
That's the nature of it, right?
Nothing constant except change. I
Right,
guess,
exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think your priorities will be when you're elected in November?
Yeah. I feel really strongly about Corning's neighborhoods. It's one of the things that attracted me to live in the city in the first place, and I've talked to others who feel the same way. We have a really nice quality of life here.
Yeah.
We have beautiful street trees. We have a great walkable city. I'd like to be able to preserve that for everyone. I think we also recognize that one of the reasons we have that is we have a really strong economic driver in Corning Incorporated.
Of course.
And so making sure that Corning continues to have a strong role in the city and leveraging Corning's presence in order to bring in other businesses and grow the economy. Those are really important things for the city.
Well, it was great when DiNapoli came to town and you had the report. Well, I don't know what a progress report. I don't even know what you'd call it, but it was very favorable to where Corning stands right now. But as you mentioned, so much has changed even from them, whether it's grants, but it's also the constant, kind of to your point, the presence of Corning Inc. We've got to embrace that just as much as we embrace anything else, I think.
Sure. And by the way, kudos to our city manager,
Yes.
Mark Reichman, for being a really strong fiscal manager of the city's
Yeah,
finances.
you get nervous when you hear DiNapoli's in town, right? And this was a good thing. This was a wonderful thing. I was glad I could attend. That was a while ago. But let's get to the comprehensive plan, because I know people have questions. How long has this been going on?
It's been almost 2 years, maybe even a little bit more. I think we started in June. So yeah. We plan to wrap up by December with a presentation to the City Council for their consideration and adoption. But backing up from that, there'll be a draft that will go to the steering committee in probably about the third week of October.
Okay.
Don't have a date certain yet, but that's an opportunity for the public to be able to see the full draft as well. And I hope people will reflect on it and share their comments on that too.
Well, that's what's been wonderful about it, because it has involved the public really from the beginning. And I've heard so many people talk about it, which isn't really common for a comprehensive plan.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear
and
that.
I know that whether it was Bill on or you, people were just wondering where it's at. And I know that you had so many of the kind of the public forums. And I just think that helps, because it gets people, I don't know, when you feel like you're part of something, it makes it a lot better, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that really speaks to what democracy is at the local level.
Yeah.
It's citizens being able to be involved in their government.
Yeah. And when did you say it wraps up ish?
We're hoping to have a plan approved in December.
I bet your Bill is too.
Yeah, I think that would be a great feather in his cap.
Yes, I would agree.
Round things out.
And I want to talk, we've covered a lot already, and we're almost running out of time, but looking at your website, you have a great website.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so can people find out more there? Can they volunteer, help you? How's that work?
The website is kind of static, but I also have a Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
It's Pam Walker for Mayor, and people can put messages on there, and I'll be sharing some of the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'd welcome people's support and people's sharing their concerns. I really want to hear what the people of Corning have to say.
Well, I know we have a lot of people that watch this program that have run for elected office. They're wondering, how do you not get an opponent? How do you make that work?
I know, right?
Did you buy a lotto ticket after? My goodness.
I did not. It's it's kind of a honeymoon phase,
Yeah,
I guess.
because normally I'd say, what do you say to voters? But at this point, just vote, right?
You know what I do say to them? I knock on their door and I say, hi, I'm Pam Walker. I'm a candidate for mayor. I'm the only one, so you're stuck with me.
You're stuck with me, sorry.
Yes.
So you might as well have a conversation with me, right?
Yeah.
And right before you came on the program, I love this. I look forward to it every year. The San Giovanni Valderno Sister Cities kids came in. That is such a nice program that Corning has.
Oh, really terrific. What a group of engaged young people.
I know.
I just got to see an exercise with Bill Boland leading them through a fake city council meeting, mock city council meeting.
Yeah, and they have so much fun with that. Bill tells me every year, because there's always kind of one fly in the ointment. Someone that's, where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to do it? They're very good at being politicians, right?
We saw a lot of fiscal conservatism in the group this
Isn't
time
that funny?
around. Yes.
But they were a great week. So I spoke to, I don't think all the group, I don't know how many kids there were total, but 2 groups, because I know they're in 2 schools. They were very talkative, where in years past you almost had to kind of pull it out of them. They love the area. They were telling us it seems like the trend is Watkins Glen might be their favorite, the racetrack.
okay.
And so that might be something to keep in mind. But we're so glad that that is a tradition that continues here. And I know next year you'll have to be the one doing all the presentations.
Yeah.
You excited for
I'm
the stuff like that?
looking forward to it. Talking with young people is something I've got a lot of background in, so I think that'll be great.
Do you think, because that's new for a lot of people when you get into politics, the idea of going to the ribbon cuttings or giving the, how do you think that are you ready for that? Is that something from your background? How can anybody be ready for that, right?
I'll take it as it comes.
A
lot of the events that Bill cuts ribbons at and represents the city and are things that I've gone to over the years.
Sure.
So I kind of know what they're like. But the idea of standing up there and being front and center is very new. So
practice your whereases and wherefores or whatever.
I guess so.
Well, Pam, thanks so much for being on the program. Again, go to your website to find out more, right?
Yes.
And the Facebook. Let's do this again soon, just to remind people, because they still have to vote for you. You need at least one.
I do. Yes, please come out and vote.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking.